Gentlemen, welcome to today's video. It's Paul Jacobs, and in today's video, I'm going to show you 4 texting patterns you can use to take any interaction you're having with a girl, no matter how boring it may be, and turn it into a fun, flirty interaction. Now, by the end of this video, you will not just know what these 4 patterns are, but I will also show you exactly how to go into each of these patterns. With that, you will know exactly how to do it, whether it's at the beginning of the interaction or somewhere along the interaction that you're already having with a girl. You will know exactly how to use these patterns. Now, if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about dating and how to use dating apps to your benefit, then consider subscribing to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and if you like the video, of course, leave me a thumbs up. Now, before we get into the 4 texting patterns, let's establish 2 things. Number 1, if you don't create a fun, flirty vibe in your interaction, then you are actually predictable and boring. And there is nothing worse than boring other people. There's no way for you to stand out with a boring profile, and there's no way for you to stand out with boring communication or with boring texting. The second thing we need to establish is why your messages are boring. And they are boring because they are predictable. They are similar to what everyone else is texting. They are exactly what the girl would expect anyways. And because of that, you need to start texting in a more playful way. Now, don't get me wrong. If you like most guys, you're probably not a boring person. However, your messages, even though you may think that you're just doing the right thing and sharing the basics, they will still be considered boring because it is what everyone is doing. And if a girl has been on dating apps for more than a week, then she's seen those messages countless times. Just, if you don't believe me, I've said this before, you can watch one of my older videos where I've tested it. Create a girl's profile and see what guys will text you. It's insane how similar the messages are and how quickly you get tired of them, even if you first like the guy. Now, the solution to this is understanding the texting patterns you can use in a repeated fashion to go away from the logical, rational texting and go into a more fun, more flirty kind of interaction. Texting pattern number 1 is using role plays. It's one of my favorite patterns. It's not my favorite because that's number 4, but it is one of my favorites, and I have used it in the Tinder opening video, which you can go and watch, where I use it to open girls with a role play scenario. It's super powerful because you can use callback humor at a later point in time. You can use it again and again. You can use it to reopen old messages. And with that said, let's take a look at an example and how you can apply that at any point in the interaction. Now, whatever the girl told you about herself, you're going to use it in that role play by indicating that that is something the 2 of you may have experienced in the past. And you're going to make up a scenario that is completely unrealistic. So for example, you're going to say something along the lines of, "Oh my God, Emma, ... please tell me you're not the doctor that treated me in 1878, if she told you she's a doctor." So the pattern is, "Oh my God," the name of the girl, and then "please tell me you're not ... But make it outrageous. Create a crazy scenario, right? If she tells you she's a doctor, ask her if she was the doctor that treated you in 1878 in London, right? If she tells you she's a shipbuilder, then ask her if she was the girl that built the Titanic, and tell her you hate her because the ship would never have sunk if she had done a proper job. If you want another example on how to use it right from the opener, there's, I think, 3 more of these examples in the Tinder opening video. I'm gonna link it here again. Go check it out. They're great examples. I've used them countless times to great success. I've shared it with a lot of people, including my students, and it just works beautifully. With that said, let's take a look at pattern number 2. Pattern number 2 is teasing, and you've probably heard about teasing before, so it's nothing new, but I'm going to show you how you can use it consistently in the different stages of the interaction, and I'm even going to give you a pattern that you can apply in any situation. Again, if you want some good examples on how to use it on the opener, I know I've said it a few times, but go watch the opening video, because there I'm using teases to open the girls on Tinder, and it's one of the best way to do it because nobody else is doing it, and it makes you stand out. However, if you're in the middle of the conversation and the conversation is a little bit boring, you still want to go into teasing, right? You want to use that to make the interaction more playful and more fun, and also make it more engaging for the girl. And again, here's a pattern for you. It's kind of similar to the pattern we used before, but this time it's not a role play. But it still kind of has a push element to it where you're going to say, please, Emma, tell me you're not ... And then create an outrageous scenario. Create a scenario that makes no sense, but it seems logical in the train of conversation. So let's say she told you that she studies science. She studies something scientific. You're going to say something along the lines of, oh my God, Emma, please tell me you're not that nerd they warned me about in school ... And to emphasize it and make it a little bit more outrageous, you can add a second message where you put in stars something along the lines of slowly walks backwards, like this. Which you can use. It's a great tool to create scenarios or to create messages that illustrate movement or an activity on your part, because it just makes it that much more outrageous. And there's a second example. You can take any quality she has that may be positive and frame it in a little bit of negative way, but then tell her you love it, right? This could be something along the lines of, oh my God, such a nerd, I love it. Now, if you master teasing, it's actually a skill you can use all the time. You can use it in your real life dating skill set. You can use it in texting. You can even use it with your friends and all your other interaction. If you get good at teasing, it's really something you can use everywhere, every day, and it's always going to be fun. So get into it, start practicing this skill set. Pattern number 3 is subtly suggesting a date. And this may at first sound a little bit ridiculous, but it is the number one thing you can do to improve your results in your texting game. That is why the last video I've made was a whole video just on how to smoothly go for the date. It is the equivalent of making a move in real life. And the reason it is so powerful is because most guys either never go for the date, they just end up texting forever and the interaction ends up dying out, or they go for the date in a somewhat weird, needy, or a little bit too eager fashion. So the girl is creeped out or is holding back or is a little bit unsure of whether she should meet or not meet up with you. So if you apply that and if you make the move from the third message on, like I'm explaining in the video, and you introduce it in a subtle way, you will massively and dramatically, and I'm not exaggerating, improve your results. The girls, and it doesn't matter how good your profile is, if you have any matches at all, this is going to probably double or triple the amount of women that are meeting up with you compared to what it was before. Now, with that said, let's get to my favorite tool, which I call outrageous hot and cold communication. I love this tool because so few people are good at this, and because you can use this, especially once you get decent at it, you can use it everywhere. You can use it in your day-to-day interactions, you can use it in your dating interactions, you can use it in dating apps. And of course, right now we're talking about dating apps. So let's take a look at some specific examples. And let me tell you one thing, this outrageous hot and cold communication, I would not use that for an opening message because it can easily be misinterpreted as being sarcastic or maybe actually being a bit negative. And you don't want that in the first message. It's just going to backfire on you. So this is something, unless you really understand what you're doing, I would keep it for a little bit later in the interaction. Now, what do I mean by hot and cold communication? Hot and cold, you can imagine that like the hot part of the communication being something positive. And again, you want to make it outrageous, so really exaggerated. And the cold part being something maybe a little bit more negative, right? Something that is almost like pushing the girl away or disqualifying anything between the two of you from happening, at least from her perspective, because you're being cold. Now I'm going to give you 2 copy-paste lines which you can use both in your texting and in your real-life dating skill set. And the great thing about them is they are hot because they show some appreciation, but the cold part is cold without being too pushing the girl away, right? Without being too negative. And because of that, you can use it very generously and just play around with it. The first one is if the girl says something you like, you're just going to say, I hate, so that's cold, I hate how much I like ... about you, right? I hate how much I like the fact that you are studying. This is a bit of a stupid example, but you get the idea. Example number 2, and this is something that is super cool. You can use it all the time. I'm going to give you an example with a girl that just told you she is studying something scientific, but it could also be anything else she's studying. You're just going to tell her, you're so fucking ... For example, you're so fucking nerdy. I can't take it, Emma. Please unmatch me ... And the important part here is you want to make it playful, so add a lot of dots at the end, right? Now, let me know how you like these lines, whether you're going to use any of them, whether you have used any of them. Share it below in the comments. I'm looking forward to some interaction with you, finding out what I can help you with, and maybe some cool lines that you have that you want to share with me. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.